Hey, what's going on, y'all? Welcome to the It's Not Bobby Durkin's channel. This is the very first preview I'm doing on this channel, and so I'm really excited. If I accidentally start screaming, "Hey, just overlook it. I'm reverting back to other habits. So, if you're new here, most likely you are because this is a brand new channel. Hit the subscribe button and pass along to other people. Also, if you'll check the link below, I actually have a subscription link to where you can actually become a member of the Bobby Durkin's, now It's Not Bobby Durkin's channel. So anyway, we can talk about that later. But anyway, let's hop into the Georgia Tech Clemson game. So historically, this game has been really good at times. But in probably the past 5 or 6 years, it's been absolutely terrible. Georgia Tech has went down the toilet, and now there's rumors that Collins is going to be fired, which let's just pause there for a second. Who's really knocking down the door of Georgia Tech to come coach football there? Really? I mean, who wants to take on that mess? They just had to convert out of this 1990s run option, and it's been a mess. So who wants to take over that role? So before they go firing Collins, they need to figure out exactly who would take over for them. I believe Chip Long is the offensive coordinator, so maybe that would be a plan, but come on. Also losing Gibbs in the offseason to Alabama, that was a massive slap in the face, and then you have to think about the emotional toll it takes on the team. Their quarterback, Sims, is back. I mean, really, what does he have to work with? Have some transfer guys, one from Clemson, I think one from Alabama. So this is not the regular Georgia Tech Clemson game that we're accustomed to seeing. Then everybody knows what's going on with Clemson. Great defense, but the offense, other than the solid running backs and the tight ends, there's questions at wide receiver. Are they going to be physical? Are they going to high point the ball? Are they going to get back to blocking downfield? Can they stay healthy? Then we go to the offensive line. We have names like Putnam and McFadden out there, and then we're working in other guys like Tristan Lee. The problem is these guys have been moving around a lot. Last year, they were not particularly that good, and so can they gel? And then, of course, probably the most storied quarterback situation in college football is DJ and Cade. Cade comes fresh out of high school. Man, he's got a storied career there in Texas. We have DJ. We know what happened in 2020. He looked like a genius against Notre Dame. And then that set the stage just way too high for him. I know there's been off-the-field issues. There's been things that's going on outside of his control, and I really do hate that for him because I have sons, and I wouldn't want someone just recklessly picking at them. At the same time, he is a college football player. I don't know if there's what's really going on with him. I know that we've talked about injuries. We've talked about Georgia breaking him. There's just so much there. Losing 25 pounds, I agree that does make him light on his feet, but that doesn't mean that it's going to fix fundamentals. We'll just have to see. So let's dive right in. The game's September the 5th. It's a Monday night, Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It's a grandiose stage for a game that is really underwhelming. Clemson, at this point, this video shot on the Thursday before, Clemson is a 22-point favorite. Now, if they had their quarterback situation worked out, we knew that it was going to be really good. I believe you could see that point spread tick on up to about 30, maybe even 35. But because there's questions at quarterback, obviously, it's not going to be as high as it possibly could be. So let's dive right in. First off, let's talk about Georgia Tech. I said Gibbs left. They really only have, I believe, 2 starters on each side of the ball returning, which is ridiculous for them. So what would I do against Clemson? Well, if I were playing Clemson and I realized, look, the likelihood of us winning this ball game is tremendously low. We know that their defense is incredible. They're physical, they're huge, and they're very fast. So On the offensive side of the ball, I would take some shots down the field. You're not going to play gimmick football with this defense of Clemson. You're not going to do it. You lost Gibbs. I mean, that guy alone would have problems against an entire defense like Clemson, even though he's ridiculously talented. But you can't try to play these gimmick plays with Clemson because they're too smart, too fast, too skilled for it. Oddly enough, I would take shots down the field. Let me tell you why I would do this. First of all, if it gets intercepted and it's a 40-yard pass down the field, 50-yard pass down the field, it's as good as a punt. Second of all, it tells Clemson you're not afraid of them. It is a great way to possibly get lucky and even get the ball in field goal range, or maybe you call a couple of good plays and you score a touchdown. That's what I would do if I was Georgia Tech offensively. And the other thing that I would do if I was Georgia Tech is I would slow the game down as much as I possibly can. Now, I understand someone's out there going, but if you have 3 and outs, make it a long 3 and out. Just don't go out there, call quick plays, and you're quickly off the field in 45 seconds. Make it tough for Clemson to get off the field. Make them frustrated that you're slowing down the game, even if it is a 3 and out. Because at this point of the game and the game planning for Georgia Tech, you really don't have that much to work with. So work with the clock, and maybe you get lucky on some of those long shots down the field if you can find protection long enough. I know that's a bunch of ifs, but this team is going to lose this ball game unless they shock us all, and I hope not. On Clemson's side of the football, this is exactly what I would do offensively. On the offensive side of Clemson's football, call good, solid plays to the three-headed monsters that you have at running back. I said monsters, like there's three-headed monsters. Anyway, you know what I mean. Don't slow the game down. Run the ball down their throat. Run it down their throat. Get the offensive line gelling up front to where they're getting used to their pulls. They're getting used to their assignments. They're really gelling together as a group. I mean, think about this. This team has 4 warm-up games leading into the NC State game that will be at Death Valley. But you're going to be playing, Clemson would be playing against NC State, against a team that returns like 8 defensive players and 1 major contributor. So you could kind of say 9 returning players on defense. They're going to have their crap together. This is a great practice game for that offensive line to gel, to really dig into their assignments. It's also a really good chance to establish the run game and warm up both quarterbacks, because we're going to see Cade and we're going to see DJ. Warm them up to where if DJ comes out and he throws 2 interceptions, you can honestly go to the coach's conference room and you can say, look, he's just not improving. We're going to have to put Cade in, or vice versa. Wide receivers. Let's talk about the wide receivers. They were played with injury last year, some uncertainty. Justin Ross returned last year, but just didn't look up to the old Justin Ross form. He's gone. Joseph Ngata's back. E.J. Williams totally went blank there. Bo Collins, Dakari Collins, Spector, Will Taylor, and now home run threat out of Dutch Fork. For anybody who doesn't really know that much about Dutch Fork, they're one of the top football schools in the state of South Carolina. They're around the Columbia area, and last year they were ranked in the top 20 of the United States. Very good football team. A lot of great talent comes out of there. Antonio Williams, he's a home run hit. He's about 5'10". The guy can just absolutely fly. But the rest of the wide receivers, except for like Taylor and Spector, everybody else is 6'3", 6'4". So what the wide receivers really need to do is they need to, first of all, they need to run their assignments. If they're running a certain route, run the flipping route like you know it's coming to you. Second of all, if there's run downfield, you need to block. You need to hurt those cornerbacks. High point the ball. The ball is up. I mean, imagine if we were playing basketball and you send someone out there who's 6'4" and they have they have a 5'11" guy guarding them. In basketball, we would be licking our chops. We'd be like, man, this is ridiculous. Let's take advantage of this. That's only if you're going to high point the ball. These wide receivers, it would not bother me at all, and I would love to see if one of the wide receivers actually got an offensive pass interference because they were fighting so hard, not because they were trying to keep the ball from being intercepted or because they were just being stupid with jockeying back and forth with the DB. What I'd like to see out of them is for them to be so aggressive to where it's like, hey, we're back. If you'll just throw the ball near us, we're going to go up, we're going to get it, we'll adjust our body and go catch the football. And to me, I believe that would make the Clemson community, Clemson fans, and the Clemson team really make a statement that, yeah, we really don't like how last year ended. We really don't, or really just went. And we're coming out, we mean business, we're a contender. So that would be one way that we could definitely do it. Obviously, the quarterback situation, it is what it is. I'm going to talk more now about the offensive coordinator. If I am Brandon Streeter, I'm not going to throw screens. This is what I would do. I would not be throwing screens, wide receiver screens out to the side. And let me tell you why. You do that quick wide receiver screen out in the flats. You do that when you can't get the ball to your playmakers. Here's a great example. Would you throw a Hail Mary? I'm not saying a long pass. I'm saying an actual legitimate Hail Mary on the very first play of the game. No, you wouldn't. And anybody who would, they would be fired probably immediately because it doesn't make sense. Why are you throwing the ball up as though the game is ending? And it's, early on in the game. It doesn't make sense. That is the way I look at wide receiver screens. You want to get the blockers out in front. I understand that, but I'm telling you, this gets used way too much to where it's no longer special. You want to get the ball out there on a screen when you have an overly aggressive defense who's also taking away some of your ability to throw the ball downfield. So if you're throwing screens on the first play of the ball game, to me, it just says that you're running it more as a gimmick play versus actual strategy. So that's one thought. Next, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. Throw the ball downfield as you go. Don't try the whole over-the-shoulder pass that you were throwing with Trevor Lawrence. These guys just need good, solid passes. This is an easily winnable game. This is a glorified practice, and if you'll treat it as so, you'll go into the NC State game, and you'll be able to win that ball game because you actually developed the talent over the past 4 weeks versus going in and it's just a bunch of odd play calling. So that's one thing that I definitely hope to see. We're going to see both quarterbacks. We know that. We don't know if DJ is going to be fixed. We don't know if Cade is going to really be crushed by the pressure. I doubt it, but we've talked about that particular facet of Clemson's football season all season long, and we've been talking about it for a while. So we know what's going to be going on there. So on the Georgia Tech defensive side, here's exactly what I would do. Once again, remember, they have no chance of winning this ballgame. I know that everybody has a chance, but I'm just saying, let's be for real here. So why wouldn't you throw the kitchen sink at Clemson? You know that the quarterback issue has been an issue. You know that the wide receivers hasn't particularly played well. Why wouldn't you play up close to the line, make them run the ball? Hey, you want to run the ball or not make them run the ball? Be set up for the run, make them throw the ball. That's exactly what I would do. What do you have to lose? You want to sit back and let their really good running backs pick you apart? It's a terrible move. If I'm Georgia Tech, I come up and I say, hey, I'm gonna stop the run and I'm gonna make you throw the ball. I'm gonna make these two quarterbacks, one who is unproven, the other one, he is in turmoil. I'm going to make him throw the ball. That's exactly what I would do if I was Georgia Tech's defense. Georgia Tech or Clemson's defense, I really don't even have to talk about. Just show up, play good, solid physical football. Hit them hard. Play your assignments, and you'll dominate Georgia Tech. If Georgia Tech does try to slow the game down. Just don't let it get in your head. Don't get overzealous, and you want to hit someone so much that you become you become really overly aggressive and start making dumb mistakes. So that's what I would do on both sides of the ball for both teams. So I think Clemson does win this ball game. If they come out and they play really terrible, we really can't. And I'm not talking about on the defensive side of the ball. Defensive side of the ball is going to be ridiculous. I'm really talking more the quarterback play, because remember, last year, that was the game that let us know that it wasn't Georgia's greatness that beat us. It was our offense. So when you really think about that, that's the uh-oh moment for all Clemson fans last year, is when we saw Georgia Tech, that bad Georgia Tech team, limit us to 14 points and could have beat us. It was poor offensive play. The defense only allowed 8 points. So this is a really big deal. I think Clemson wins the ball games. If they come out, they play solid, the quarterback is clicking, we're looking about 35-3, maybe into the 40s. But if the quarterback play is poor and the defense is going back out there and back out there and back out there, I think you're going to see an overall frustration. Clemson wins the ball game somewhere around 21-7, 21-3. Only giving up those points because the defense would be out there so much. That's if Clemson's offense can't get things rolling. But we will see. Well, thank you for joining me on this very first preview on this channel, Not Bobby Durkins. Pass it along to your buddies, your friends, or anybody who hates Bobby Durkins, and maybe they'll hate me as much as they hate him. Catch you next time. Go Tigers.